When did the band first form, and how did that come about?
Well, we formed in 2007, and I mean, I was personally I was looking for a band at that time. My old band had broken up, and then Anthony, our bass player, and our guitarist at the time, Jordan, trying to form a band, and they picked me and Rick out, and all the bands kind of just fell off, and we were a group all of a sudden.
Right.
And it was, I mean, we clicked instantly. Like first practice, we came in and like wrote a song, and it was really amazing. We're like, I'll see you next week. So Mike came in later.
Yeah, I came in around I was actually the guitar tech for the band when they started getting a little bit more popular in like 2009 when that record was released.
Okay.
And in 2010 they had a little bit of creative differences with the other guitar players, so they asked him to leave, and I got the call that wanted to join the band. And a couple practices later, it felt good and everyone dug the vibe, so kind of stayed with the group, and here we are. That was in like right when 2010. You know, kind of like the middle of 2000, like summer of 2010. So.
Definitely a good addition because you know we watched it jam.
Awesome.
You know, it's great.
Great success. That's success.
The Butcher. What's the meaning behind that song?
Okay, well, I came to the table when I was writing that song, and I had like the Butcher was originally supposed to be about the view of a pig being butchered by a butcher.
Very literal.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be very literal. And I brought that in, and I was like, hey, you know, this is what I want to write it about. And at the time, Brett Hessel was producing the album. He looked at me and he's like, that's a really cool idea for a song, but you're really not appealing to a very broad audience, you know. So I went and he's like, you should probably make it about something else. He's like, I like the chorus. He's like, keep the chorus how it is, but rewrite the verses. And the first verse is actually kind of about, it's more about like parents holding kids back from doing what they want to do, and like, you know, maybe because of their faults, they're more shunned than they are accepted or loved for stuff like that. And the second verse is more like about like an abusive other half, you know what I mean? Like be a girlfriend or a wife or a husband or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's more about abuse than the first verse. But I mean, it still holds true the same way. You know, the chorus still holds true, and it's you know. And there's a kind of part in the bridge too where like it gives people hope that like things aren't so bad. Like I try to put like a lot of that stuff in my lyrics where I don't like to just dwell on the bad the whole song if I can. I mean, sometimes it's a song about that.
Right.
You know, but other times it's nice to kind of give people hope. I mean, talking about what they're feeling, hopefully, and give them hope that it's going to get better.
Right.
You know?
Nothing wrong with a good positive mind frame. Farewell to Good Days is climbing the charts. So, yeah, that's what I said. I go, so how does it feel to be a new band with 2 top 40 hits?
It feels fucking great.
It really is. It's super nuts, man. Because we've even heard from like radio promoters back in Chicago and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's a huge deal for any band to have 2 top 40 active rock singles. You know, and for them to already have success, let alone a rising band out of Chicago who most people still really don't know about.
You know, I think that you guys have a very, very good future. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I really do.
I hope so too.
I dig it.
Can't stop, won't stop. We're gonna keep going. You know?
That's the best thing to do. What's your favorite song to play?
I know. Mine's "I Am the Sun."
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, I love playing "I Am the Sun" just because it's got that bridge. It's got the big, and when we do it live, it's got the we add like 6 extra bars.
Got some breakdown action
to build up that to build up the breakdown. And it just like every time we played that song live, it's even cooler, especially like when you're playing like a big ass festival and there's like 4,000 to 6,000 people there.
Right.
And when that part just erupts, there's an 808 drop that comes out and people go crazy.
Right.
It's always. You feed off that shit a lot,
right,
dude.
Exactly.
Like when you look out in the crowd and you see the crowd, just a wave of people bouncing up and down, it's nuts. So that song usually gets me going.
I like, it's hard to call your baby ugly. I mean, I really enjoy singing both Soldier Soul and Preach to Me.
Okay.
You know, those are my favorite to sing. You know what I mean? Like wherever I'm at in the shower or on stage or, you know, wherever at practice. Jerking it. You know, sometimes you gotta sing and jerk it. I'm sorry. Okay. We just went there. I'm sorry. Exclusive.
You listen to your own
Yeah.
Singing a bunch of long beat.
So you listen to your own songs in the car?
No, you know, when you first get that rough master and you're like,
You have to jam it in your car, you know, it's because that's where most people are going to hear it. You want to know what it sounds like through a decent, you know, like a car stereo system. So definitely, like when we finished up the Johnny K stuff, like Hapless and Farewell, and there's a song that we play live that we haven't released yet called Closer. I remember just going right to my car and we got it, and I was like, I'm just gonna drive around for like an hour.
He doesn't live very far from us. Call me like, hey, you want to come listen to the
You
songs?
want to listen to the songs, let's drive around the city, listen to our fucking music, bro. It seemed kind of lame, but you get mad excited because, you know, it was like our first time in with like a crazy ass producer. You know, the dude's done Megadeth, Stained, you know, Seether. He Grammy nominated for Three Doors Down.
Yeah.
The
What's
new
this
Seven
producer's
Dust
name?
record, Johnny K.
Johnny K?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did
Disturbed stuff.
He did all the Disturbed records.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, really?
I mean, it's.
See, then I think this has a lot to do with why I think, you know, it really stands out too, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, those, yeah,
you get the right people behind you and,
Exactly.
and it makes everything, you know what I mean? So that's definitely...
He's the man. He's just a Chicago dude who knows how to record and engineer music and mix music really, really well.
He's a great guy too. He's a really cool guy to sit and talk to and hang out with. You know what I mean?
Just pick his brain for like hours.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we'd be in the studio, we'd be tracking from like noon to like midnight or 1 a.m. You know, we'd have 12 or 13-hour days in the studio. And afterwards, you know, we would all hang out for a couple hours, you know, grab a bite to eat or grab a drink, and he would just, you know, kind of school us and educate us on the whole industry and shit. It was awesome, you know?
Yeah, it's good to have that advice, especially when you're up and coming. You know?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Have someone who has some knowledge and kind of guide you on the right path.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've seen that with other bands as you know, as we followed them, and they were
There's always something to learn too. You know, you never
Right.
stop learning.
absolutely. Any tours lined up that we should know about?
Yeah, starting in the middle of November, we'll be out with I Empire and Seven Dust for, right now, I think only 2.5 or 3 weeks of the tour are booked, but I think they want to extend it another week and a half, so it might be like a 4 to 4.5 week tour. Yeah, we toured with Seven Dust earlier this year, them and Adelia's Way, and it was one of the best experiences I think we've had on the road ever. Every show was, you know, almost 1,000 people. You know, I mean, every show was packed. They're great dudes. We'd be going out with Seven Dust every night and grabbing drinks with them, you know, or just chilling at the venue and talking to Morgan all night. And they're just a great bunch of dudes, and I can't wait to meet them.
What is the most difficult part about being a new band in the scene?
Just trying to keep your head above water. You know, it's no matter when you're this new, you know, you have to be cool with being stepped on. You have to be cool with getting the shaft. You have to be okay with eating a pile of shit. You know, you have to be able to let someone bigger than you shit on your head, and then after that, you need to say thanks for the hat. You know, like that's what it boils down to.
I mean,
you know.
there's a lot. I mean, it's a little discouraging too, because like we're at this time that we're at right now, like the economy is kind of crappy.
Yeah.
You can really tell.
Right.
Come to shows, people. Come to shows and see us play and help support us. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to keep your head above water. You know, and I'm sure that there will be a point when stuff will be a little bit easier. You know, hopefully, but. You know, until then, you just have to.
Silver lining, if you will.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, every band that is big right now has done exactly what we're doing for years. You know, and that's what it takes. It takes a little bit to gain that exposure. And we're paying our dues right now. We're just paying our dues.
We're a pretty level-headed bunch of guys, so I mean, we have our moments. But
we have our moments of outbursts where some of us will lose our shit, but. For the most part, we're all really good together.
And generally, there's an apology pretty quickly after one of us loses our shit. We're like, okay, I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have punched you in the dick. I apologize.
The Bro Handbook.
My bad.
Right? What has been your favorite show so far?
South Carolina, we played at the Southern Belle.
If you want to talk, yeah.
With Saliva, we played with at the Southern Belle. It's a strip club. It's BYOB, open until 6 a.m. There were probably 900 people in this place. The Hells Angels were doing security. And
this is, I mean, you got to
naked bitches.
To paint a picture. This is like a few months after we had just gotten signed. We had just wrapped up with Johnny K in the studio, and this was our first tour ever.
Yeah.
And we were going out with Saliva and a band from Tennessee called Star City Meltdown. And
Also really good news.
yeah, another great band, Star City Meltdown from Tennessee. But we pull up to this venue, and it's in this grungy industrial neighborhood. It's just this huge titty bar, dude. And I remember, like,
there's a sex shop attached.
Yeah, there's a sex shop attached to it. It's shady.
Yeah, right.
Gas station.
Gun shop also, you know.
Right. Gun shop, liquor store, gun shop, liquor store.
Right.
But it was just like, we had gotten there, and we were direct support to Saliva that night, and we were like, there's no way they're gonna have strippers like while we're playing, right? So we were mad wrong about it. We get up there and we play, and there are girls behind the stage on these 30-foot poles, just butt-ass naked. Girls like out in the crowd.
Like by the soundboard.
Yeah.
Butt-ass naked.
And it was like, you felt like in our dressing room, we shared a dressing room with the strippers.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was a complete rock star moment, dude. It was just like, there's naked bitches everywhere, dude.
We made it.
We
made it.
Yeah, right? My first tour, we made it.
I asked the crowd to show me their titties, and there were other titties that weren't strippers that were shown too, and I was like,
Yeah, I was like, put those titties away.
yeah.
You put those
Yeah,
titties
there
away.
were a couple.
Leave it to the professional.
Right. If you could tour with any band currently in the scene, who would it be?
I think mine would be Alter Bridge. I'm a huge Mark Tremonti fan. I never really liked Creed, and I should say it's just more so that I never liked Scott Stapp. It was like I liked Mark Tremonti guitar, I loved Brian Marshall's bass player, and Scott Phillips was still is a great drummer. And when they got Miles Kennedy to do vocals and they kind of beefed up their sound a little bit, we did a date in Iowa off the Carnival of Madness tour with Theory of a Dead Man and Alter Bridge and Blackstone Cherry. And I mean, it was unbelievable watching Alter Bridge live. Those dudes they play everything like 10 BPMs faster than it is on the record.
It's intense.
It's just non-stop punch in the face to see them live. I would love to tour with those dudes.
Cool. Yeah. That's. I mean, anybody specific for you?
I mean, I would love to tour with Five for Death Punch, and I'd love to tour with 3 Days Grace. I just think that they're really good musicians.
Do you have a favorite fan story? And us passing you on your way to your next gig doesn't count.
I'm not gonna name any names, okay, but or where we were, just in case she sees this interview or anything like this. But we were playing a show. I'm just gonna say it was down south, right? And we have a type of fan that we call Punisher. Okay, we have all kinds of different fans and stuff like that, but there's one very in particular brand of fan that we call Punisher, and it's usually a woman who is a little bit bigger and is really trying way too hard to just bang the shit out of you. So we end up staying at this chick's house, right? And I kind of felt like I was a little obligated to bring, because she made us dinner, she gave us a shower, she gave us laundry, she gave us a place to stay, all that stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get really drunk, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take one for the 7 Day Sonnet camp tonight. So we go in there, and she's like, I got something to show you, and she drags me to a back room, right? I'm like, oh, here it goes, dude. It's like, close your eyes. So she throws me on the bed, she takes her shirt off and shit, and I look over to my left, and no joke, on the nightstand, there is a gun, there is a taser, and then there is, for whatever godforsaken reason, a butcher's knife on the nightstand. I'm like,
Oh my God.
and I'm like looking around, I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, where am I right now, dude? So I was like, I threw it off me, and I ran to the bathroom and faked sick. I was pouring water in the toilet and making like a gag sound. I was like fake throwing up, right? And I run out of the bathroom. She's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, I think I'm sick. I'm just gonna go lay down and go to sleep." And I snuck into another room, locked the door, and slept like huddled in a corner on the floor in a sleeping bag for the entire night.
She's gonna find you now.
See,
Right? Dude,
She knows it was her. She knows what's on her nightstand.
she was gonna take that hapless behavior. She was gonna be the butcher,
Yeah.
and she was gonna say farewell to good days.
That's very good. I like that. I like that a lot.
And for you, do you have any particular story that you've?
I think there's some pretty good ones. I'm gonna give you a simple one though, where it's like, this is after we first released Hapless, and it just started getting like, you know, pretty good rotation record time in the charts and stuff. And we're in Ableton, Wisconsin, and we're playing the show with Egypt Central. And then like, you know, people are kind of rocking out or whatever, and then all of a sudden we play Hapless at the end of the set. That's the last song we play, you know, so we rock it out, and it's like. And the whole crowd just gets into it and starts singing. I'm like, yeah. And afterwards, this guy comes in and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you know what band is it that you guys play that cover song with? And I'm like,
He thought we were covering
yeah.
Hapless.
I'm like, wait, which song? And he's like, oh, the last one. I'm like, he wrote that song. He's like, no way, I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm excited too, man. He's like, hugging me. Buying me drinks. It was a good night.
Well, just want to tell you guys thank you for giving us a chance to interview you, and
Thanks for having us here.
and we are looking forward to checking up on you guys here when you guys are out with Seven Dust and I Empire, and yeah, I mean, this is exciting to actually watch you guys kind of building up right now. You know, I mean, we do like really enjoy what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much,
And we are all about making sure your name gets out there.
Fuck yeah.
Woo!
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Success.